protein cookie. You know what?
Season 3, episode 5.
5.
Welcome
2.
the Energy and Heart podcast.
Hosted by
Jiggy,
and Steph.
how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, you know how when you eat and there's still food stuck in your... Yeah, there's just protein cookie in my mouth. Don't watch me swallow it. We're good to start.
Okay, let's do some recaps,
Updates.
checking in.
Yes.
How was Mexico?
So I went to Mexico for a week. It was like leaving K-Town and going to another K-Town, except with Mexican food. That's really what it felt like. I think I had expectations that it would be a very nourishing trip. Because Oaxaca was just like so much nature, so much slowing down time. But I feel like because we implanted ourselves into another city, that it was just as hectic as like being here. So I don't think I got the like nourishing feeling that I would have wanted. But outside of that though, the food was so fucking good. And then we had a lot of churros. That was really fucking good.
Ooh.
We had churros. It was like sugar and cinnamon. It was like dipped in the condensed milk.
Ooh.
It was so good, dude. I still think my mouth is watering. I'm sorry, my mouth is watering.
I think you're just really hungry too.
No, I had a morning. I like literally ran out, didn't eat, didn't like nothing. But yeah, it was really nice to eat all the food. And then we went on a hot air balloon thing. Yeah, so that was really fun. You literally had to
Wow.
get out of the house by like 4:50 in order to get to the place where all the like balloons are. And then yeah, they like put you in a little basket. I mean, I guess it looks like a basket. It's actually kind of big. But yeah, they put you in a basket and then the pilot like uses the fire to like move the air and then you're just like in the sky. But I thought I would be really scared of it because I thought it was gonna be like a Ferris wheel feeling. But it was actually like as if you're standing, but then you're just in the sky but standing. Yeah, it was really weird. You're just like kind of gliding basically. So it was very peaceful. It was very nice. And then Kato and I just had a lot of life conversations. I haven't even talked to you about this. But yeah, just they were very hard and very real conversations, but it was about just like taking care of our parents in the future and like
Wow.
what does saving money look like for that? Like, you know, at the end of their lives, will they stay at our place or are we putting them in a nursing home? Like I was like, are we really having
Wow.
this conversation?
Yeah.
And so I just had a lot of that. On top of like, do we want to get a house? When do we want to get a house? And like financially, what does that look like? And like just money conversations and career conversations. So that was kind of in the background of our trip. So it was kind of I think it didn't feel like vacation. It felt more like a live check-in. Yeah. So that was a trip though. Came back. Our flight got overbooked.
Yeah.
Our flight got overbooked. And it was supposed to be at 8 a.m. They overbooked it, and we got back at 2 a.m. So the next day, so it's great. Just know that if your flight is ever overbooked, like I think Chase, depending on what card you have, like they will cover a certain amount. If you're overbooked over 12 hours, I think it's like $500 per person. And then they gave us like a voucher. So
That's nice.
I mean, they better.
Yeah.
Like you're having me stay there for 12 hours? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my trip. Yeah.
Okay.
Talk about yesterday's event.
Yeah, so yesterday I had a workshop with I don't know what to call them, fitness coaching program business called Earn Not Given Club. and it was a workshop for athletes, professionals. I told them that the workshop will serve both athletes, competitive or hobbyists, and then also for personal and professional development. And the name of the workshop was called Self Compassion for High Performance. And we were just going over the stigmas of self compassion, what is high performance versus hustle, rest and why it's so important and how it can apply, and then like some practical takeaways and on self assessments and how they can just come up with their own strategies in order to have sustainable high performance. And then we did like a 10-minute activity where they just answer some questions, and then we did like a group share. The group share was so cute. I love
I
that.
loved it so much. It was
Some
very
of my
sweet.
teammates that I trained with came, and I thought that was so sweet. Ugh, that was really sweet. But I actually really love that like majority of the people I didn't know who they were, and so it was cool for people to like people I don't know to see me do what I do, as well as people who I only train with who got to see what I do too. But overall experience, like, I mean, the club helped host the event and they helped market and advertise for it and stuff like that. Um, but for me, it was like my first time putting my own little event together, and I had this idea of like doing goodie bags, and so I got two really wonderful sponsors. They're Hyperfly and Element, and as I was putting the goodie bags together, just one item by one item and just putting them together, I put my brand new stickers in there.
That's so
I forgot
cute.
to bring cap stickers, but I got these brand new stickers, and I'm just like putting goodie bags together, and I'm like, who the fuck am I to host my own workshop? And then the entire event is around me, and we're asking people to come listen to me and learn from me. And then who am I to have sponsors? Like, what? I have sponsors like sending me goodies to because they believe in my mission. And then like they're not just any bumblefuck sponsors. They're like really elite brands. Like Hyperfly is one of the top brands in jiu-jitsu, and Element is like one of the most elite in like hydration multipliers. And I'm like, wow, this once upon a time this was just like maybe a cute idea I once played around with in my head. Um but it actually happened. And I'm putting the goodie bags together, and I'm just reflecting on how far I've come in my career and building my business, but most importantly like the people in my life and my networking. I was like, oh my God, to be honest, there's no state in this country where I don't have a friend. I can go anywhere and stay at anybody's places, sometimes even in other countries. And I moved across the country with no job lined up, no friends, and then again moving to LA and stuff. And it's like, how did I get to a point where I've cultivated such rich quality relationships with people that I love, as well as with people that I don't even know, I've never even met, but they trust me because of like some shit that I post on social media, or because I'm friends with somebody who is also quality, and therefore they believe I'm quality. And so they show up for me. Like my videographer, that was my first time meeting him, but I've been following him for a while because he's my friend's videographer. But by friend, I mean she's like and one of my older friends from like the masterminds. And so I've never met this guy, but I've been following him for a while, and I was just like, I need a videographer because what's his face was supposed to come down, but his gig got canceled, and I was like, I need a videographer like last minute.
Mm.
And I think people think it'll be easy to find videographers in LA, but I'm so particular that I don't actually believe that to be true. Because I have like really high standards. Like you have to be communicative, you have to be professional, you have to show up on time, you have to do this, da, 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 da. You have to deliver at a certain time, like all of these things. But like just like that, I just had a really quality person show up for me last minute, and I really appreciated it. And I was like, who the fuck am I to host my own workshop and have goodie bags with sponsors and then a videographer to capture it? Like, who the fuck am I to think that whatever it is that I teach needs to be captured? But then I'm like, well, this is exactly what I've been working towards. And this is exactly what I've been wanting. And I don't usually do like presentations with the slideshow almost ever unless it's virtual. But I got the clicker that morning, yesterday morning. I went to Best Buy, got the little clicker thing, and I really liked it. Like it's far more engaging. I really love the audience. Really cool people. Uh, they all athletes of different types, and they were really receiving a lot. They laughed a lot, which I appreciate. Everything went really, really well. Like obviously, I'm a little self-critical of like my performance and how I want to be better next time and things like that. But for my first workshop, that was like I'm thoroughly really proud of myself. Like I don't want to say I'm impressed with myself because I expect myself to like perform at the highest level and like I know that I can still have done a better job. But I'm tired of being impressed. Like I want to be proud of myself, and I am.
Dude, I just had this vision.
What? Oh no. A vision. What?
We should host a conference.
Oh yeah.
We should,
Dude,
we
what the
should
fuck
do-
makes you think
no,
I haven't
no,
think
no,
of-
no, no,
we
no,
can-
no. I know,
how to
I
throw a
know you
conference, we can
have.
do it.
No, I know you have. But like, we should do it this year. Like that.
Oh, we could totally. Dude, I already thought. Like, I was actually like thinking about. It's so funny. I would like think about events all the time, but like, I want to have like the posters for the conference to look like festival lineups.
Yeah.
And
I
I
love
have this
that.
idea for my own conference. It's like Jiggy and friends,
That's
or like
cute.
Jiggy's friends,
That's cute.
and have these like headliners like
Yeah.
oh Stephanie Tran,
That's actually
Norman
so
Tran,
funny.
Kevin Doe.
Dude, we should do, okay.
Eva.
Okay, we're gonna
like,
talk about it after our after this episode.
Yeah, like all of my
like,
friends
stoked.
from like Eva talking about finances, like my friends talking about life insurance, real estate, like mash it. I could have Eric Thomas's mom come, like, yo, what? I know so many. How do I know Eric Thomas's mom? What?
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to say though, because I actually thought that wasn't your first time, but I just realized that I think you've done this workshop like online.
Yeah.
Right? Like similar, yeah. Okay, because it was honestly the coolest thing to watch you do it like live. And I was telling Megan after after we left, I was just like, dude, Jiggy was like meant to be up there. Like she's so like you were so funny. It was so helpful. It was very practical, but there was also like you were like keeping people accountable too. It wasn't like a oh here like you just do this thing. It was like no, like you guys need to like really do something about this. And I really felt that. And I think that's very different from like most workshops that you go to. It's just like, oh here, like I'm just here to do the job. Right. But I've really felt the like, hey, I'm like rooting for you all to like really like get this done. And I think that's what makes you very different as like a workshop person and also as a speaker. I just think that you are able to be entertaining at the same time that you teach. And I think that is such a great combination that like most people in the world like do not have. They're like usually one or the other, but they're usually not like both. And so I was very impressed. It was very cool. Like I was sitting in the back, and like when you're standing in the back, you see like what everyone's doing. You see everyone's reactions and body language. People were so engaged. Like they were like nodding their heads. They were like taking their notes. They were taking photos of the slides. And I was like, wow, like this is very sweet. Super cool. And so yeah, I think it was just really cool to see you in a different like working a different realm. Like usually like you speak the whole time, which I thought the workshop was really cool. And I was just like, damn, like y'all don't even know. Like y'all don't even know. Like it was like a snippet of like what I've experienced with you like when you speak, you know? But yeah, I thought it was such a great event. Like so perfectly aligned too with like the people that you collaborated with. And I think that's like a hallmark of like the Jiggy Yoon brand is always like full alignment with whoever you connect with. So yeah, I just had to say it. Like I didn't get a chance to say it yesterday. So
I mean, I really appreciate you being there, and like I saw you taking notes too. And
yeah, I was
like, and like you were like you were like taking notes, and you were like nodding your head, and you were like,
I was
And I
like,
was
"Yes,
actually surprised. I was like, bitch, I say this all the time.
I know you say it all the time, but it still hits every time. Like, that's because it's very
And like the
powerful.
faces that you were making, like you were impressed by what I was saying. I'm like, I say this all the time. But I think that
Still.
also makes it like I appreciate you being there so much, and like I think that's so dope because I'm like, man, this bitch has
I've
listened
listened
to
to so
me
many times.
speak or do workshops. Like I say, these are everyday things that I talk about, but you still react as if it's your first time hearing it,
It's a good
and
reminder.
it's really helpful for me. Um, but it also lets me know like I'm doing a good job and I can keep
Yeah.
going. Yeah, and shout outs to George from Erd Not Given Club. We trained together and that's how we brought this together. He just kind of like we were just getting ready to train one day. We were just like sitting on the mats and he was like, I think we should collaborate. And I was like, okay. And then like a week later, I'm like, so do you wanna do it? He's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's set up a meeting. So then our meeting was us getting ready to train and we were just like wrapping our hands. We were just like talking the whole time. And I was like, that was the simplest, easiest, most aligned meeting. It is so cool, like wrapping hands, talking about the workshop and stuff. Um, but yeah, also shout outs to Steph and Megan and Carrie for helping set up and sell merch. Who the fuck am I to sell merch?
I know.
I had a table? What? What?
It was very cute. It was very cute.
Dude, it looked really cute. Yeah. So anyhow, yeah, that was a really great experience. I don't do workshops often, so that was really cool.
You should do it more often,
I
honestly.
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I love
Like,
teaching. Like I love
yeah.
speaking, but I also love teaching. I love like cuz motivational speakers like it's cute to be on stage and speaking all day long, but like if people don't have practical takeaways, they're still going to be left oblivious. And like I said yesterday, vagueness is the enemy of excellence. And you just can't be vague when it comes to executing. So
Yeah.
shit. That was fire. It was
My,
I'm happy about it. I'm very happy about it. Oh
my
shit.
brain's just going like 10,000 miles per hour
Oh,
because it's planning
no.
now.
Here we go.
It's planning.
Here we go. All right, conference by the end of the year.
Yeah. Whatever we say here always comes true.
It does
Y'all
come
know.
true. Yeah.
Y'all know. So.
Okay, well, we were gonna talk about something today other than, what's been going on. During a conversation the other day, I think it was during
In
fellowship, right?
seniors, yeah.
In one of our more advanced programs called
Fellowship.
fellowship, and in it we have seniors. And one of the students, we were just like having a conversation, and somehow we got to the topic of what is the difference between nice and kind. And Steph made a comment that says she actually doesn't want to come off as too nice.
You're so dramatic.
I just know this is how I'm gonna edit it.
Okay. So this whole thing came up because in fellowship is the program that we host after Relating Between the Lines. So in RBTL, people learn foundational communication skills. In fellowship, you're really mastering that. You're really getting a sense of how the people experience you, and you're really closing the gap between how you see yourself and how other people see you. So it's like really great place to get feedback. So in these sessions, there's questions that we ask, and the questions that we asked are a little bit more, I think, spicy to engage with. And so the topic that we were talking about is actually kind of like in the realm of like first impressions and like how do you like experience me. So when I was speaking with this student, this participant, we were basically unpacking like how does this person experience me, and we got into the topic of like how do I want others to experience me. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions about me that I get a sense from other people is that actually this is all in my head, it's not confirmed.
You better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
And so I do think that I come across as really warm and very inviting and very approachable. And I think because I come across as very approachable, I feel that sometimes people um, put me in the bucket of being really nice. And I don't like that because I think niceness feels very like, it kind of gives a sense of like agreeable. And I think my entire life I'm sort of been on this lifelong journey of really speaking up for myself, really getting clear on what are my opinions versus other people. And so when I was growing up, I feel like a lot of my thoughts, a lot of my feelings were like kind of swept under the rug. And so throughout my adulthood, it's all about like getting clear on like what do I value, what do I stand for, what are my opinions, and also speaking up when it is appropriate to speak up. And so I think I get afraid that people think I'm nice when I actually want to be known as being kind. And so I think the main difference between like the two is that like I think being kind requires that you are still like honest, not necessarily agreeable. So it's not like that it's like if you disagree, like you're still able to say that, right? I think that when I communicate, I choose very intentionally to be kind when I communicate. Like just because you want to be like, people make the excuse, okay, like, but I'm like honest, and they use that as an excuse to be an asshole and to be like very
Mm,
blunt and to
mm,
be like really mean. And it's just like you can be honest, but it doesn't have to be mean.
yeah.
There's a way to communicate that like can still leave the other person feeling like, you know what, I feel challenged, but that was a really good call out. Versus like if you say it really mean, or you're an asshole when you're giving some sort of feedback, like the person is gonna be defensive and be less likely to take your feedback. So I think of like when you're being kind, you're thinking of like the ultimate like goal. Like the ultimate goal is understanding on both sides, right? And like to reach that, like most of the times you don't need to be an asshole about it. Like you're more
Mm.
likely to have somebody truly get it, like receive your feedback if you're being kind about it.
So what
And
is the
so,
skill?
huh?
What is the skill for that
Was
called?
I I mean, I feel like it's a mixture, right? Like
Direct and kind.
oh yeah, yeah. So like
Yeah.
yeah, being direct and kind, and which Jiggy is like I think quite incredible at, and what she's known for like in relating between the lines. But yeah, like I had that conversation with that student, and I was just like, wow, like I really hope I'm not coming across as nice. And so in RBTL, like you do learn that you learn to discern between like what are stories that you're making up about yourself, and what are the things that you may think you come across as versus how is a person actually experiencing you. And so in that space I was able to get clarity from this person that like, oh, this person actually does not experience me in that way. He doesn't experience me as nice, he experiences me as kind. He's like, just so you know, you've never come across as agreeable, like otherwise it wouldn't be here, because I know you can deliver like the feedback that I need to hear. And so I think that was very reassuring for me, I think, to receive that confirmation that I'm not coming across in that way. Because I think that's my biggest fear, is like
Mm.
being seen as like kind of a pushover, or that I can be stepped on.
Mm.
That's the worst thing. And I say that because I think I've fought a lot to and try to learn a lot of skills in order to not be that way.
Mm.
And there's like layers to that, in terms of like believing that what you say or what you think is worth it enough
Mm.
to actually share. And then also like then beyond that, having the language to actually be able to communicate it. So yeah, that was a long-winded
Yeah. Well,
answer to that, but
that
yeah.
reminds me of like, was it season 1, episode 1, when like you said something really like
Did I say something really
you
spicy?
said something
I
like super savage,
Yeah, I did. I
and we were
did.
like laughing about it. I was like, "Yo, y'all think that I'm savage? Like da da da. Y'all don't actually know Steph.
Yeah.
Like she's a very nice person. Like she's very kind and stuff. But like,
I do have
don't
standards.
fuck with her."
Yeah, I do have standards, I
You thought
think.
I was the
Yeah.
one. I gotta pull that episode back
It
up.
was like some people say they have a small group of friends,
Hmm.
but I don't think it's like I keep my circle
Yeah,
small. And
yeah.
I'm just like, do you keep your circle small, or is it that you don't know how to keep your
Oh
friends? Like,
yeah,
which I
dude,
think
that
is
still hits.
true. Like,
That still
no,
hits.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's very real. Yeah, I
You're
think some
right.
people can't do it.
So when it comes to being too kind or too
Too
nice,
nice.
um, you've been letting me know lately that like you are a former people pleaser.
Oh yeah,
And so
yeah,
I wonder,
yeah.
is there like a parallel there that you don't want to come off too nice no more? Like you're not about that life anymore because you no longer
No.
want to be a people. I mean, no one wants.
Yeah.
Actually, I actually know people who like being people pleasers,
Yeah, I think
but
people get a kick out of it. Like
mhm,
you stay a people pleaser because you get something out of it. You do. Like people stay in certain patterns that they have because there is something you gain from that. So in
what do you
being
get out of being a people pleaser?
you get other people's approval. Yeah. So you stay there because that's what you feed off of,
Mhm,
and you're not ready to actually face the discomfort of knowing that somebody may not approve of you, somebody may not actually like you. Like,
mhm,
can you be with that? And
mhm,
that's literally what I've been trying to do. It's just
mhm.
like, okay, like too bad, so sad if we're not on
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
page, you
yeah,
know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's like I think there are parallels in that like it's just hard. You grow up your entire life, you're trying not to rock the boat, you know, like
Mhm.
you're trying to appease appease people. Especially it just comes from like parents, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I think like my parents just, they had to survive, didn't have time to invest in the emotional piece of my like life or learning. And so like as a child, you just do your best not to like make things worse,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
That's where the people pleasing comes from.
yeah.
You're just trying to like make sure everything's okay, like not make things harder for your parents, not make things more difficult.
Mhm.
And I think that's most of my like childhood, and eventually I was like, I think the first step out of that strangely was like, I'm not gonna be a doctor anymore. Like
Mm.
that was like my first step at like, no, I don't want to live this life. I don't want to be something for somebody else.
Yeah,
And then it's just been in a journey since. So
yeah.
yeah,
Um, Speaking to the audience, I
yeah.
wonder now that you heard the difference between being nice and be kind, like what is the reflection that you're having right now, and do you feel as though there are any adjustments that you might have to make, because it turns out that like being too nice is actually like, I think that being nice is a great quality, but personally I don't think that there's a lot of heart in it. Like being
Mm.
kind is truly like the genuineness out of your heart versus being nice. It's just like they just teach you to that being nice is really important as you're a child, and being nice is just about like being agreeable,
Mhm.
not rocking the boat. It's sharing is caring, but as we grow up we have to realize, like we learn like no, actually like boundary setting is really important.
Mhm.
Standing up for ourselves and putting our foot down is also really important.
Mhm.
Those things are not considered nice things. So then when people want to focus on being nice, they want to actually avoid conflict. But conflict also has a really bad stigma, but I believe that it doesn't always have to be a negative conflict. I think that there's
Yeah.
empowerment in conflict, and that if it's done in a really
Mhm.
healthy way, it can be very productive. You can still be direct and kind out of the genuineness of the heart, because when you're kind, your intention is clear, and the other person can understand that you don't come from a bad place, and that you have actually have an intention for the conversation. Versus
Mhm.
you want to have a conversation just to be nice. The fuck is that?
Mhm.
What gets done? You're just
It's not
honestly
productive.
sucking up on people.
Yeah.
Who does that anymore? We're not in high school anymore. We're not in
Full
middle school
adults.
anymore. We're not trying over here trying to avoid the burn book anymore. We're grown ass adults. And there has to be a time where our foot, like we put our foot down, and for me, like the distinction, I seen this meme that says like people in New York are not nice, but we're kind.
Mm.
And that's because like the thing that usually sometimes does happen is that when you go to like an underground like train station, and some like old grandma or somebody has something really heavy to carry down the steps, and so people in New York just like go grab it for them and then walk it down the steps for them and then just say bye and leave, or like,
Oh,
or
what?
don't not even say bye but just like, and then just leave. I've done that before. It's like a thing that happens quite often. And so being nice would be like, oh, like, okay, I do agree that maybe we should approach them with like, hi,
Yes.
would you like some help? Yeah, I get that.
Yeah,
But
this is
we just want to like
consent.
get things done and go, you know? And it's the subway. Like, it's honestly one of the busiest places. But yeah, like being nice would have been like, can I help you? Oh, where are you going? Oh, let me carry that. Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. Okay, get there. Okay, bye. And go. But being kind is just out of the goodness of your heart, and you just do it. I remember one time, oh, this is a cute story. Gloria and I were on the train, and we noticed this woman. The woman came up to Gloria to ask in Mandarin, like she was trying to get somewhere and didn't know how. So Gloria and I just ended up taking her to her destination.
Mm,
And yeah, that might be like nice, but we didn't have to do it, but we did it because of the kindness of our hearts. Like we truly wanted to do it versus feeling forced to do it. So yeah,
mm,
another distinction I think is like the genuineness of the heart.
mm,
Because like being kind, like being direct and kind, having those conversations, like it's not a nice feeling.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah.
I like what you said earlier that like I think conflict if done correctly, if you're very skilled at it, is actually supposed to be very connecting.
Yeah.
So
That's why I don't fear conflict. I trust myself, and hopefully the other party is, you know, well versed but
equipped, yes.
equipped. But even if I trust myself to show up in a certain way, if
Yeah.
they can't, then at least I have the awareness to like not take it personally.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I wish for a world where we can have tough conversations without, like, we're allowed to have fear, like we're allowed to feel uncomfortable about like tough conversations,
Yes.
and also having the courage and believing in that, the trust in that things can still kind of go okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people in the world are not equipped. That's literally why relating between the lines exists.
You too can have the skills of
It's
being direct and kind and having conflict resolution and deep, meaningful
the
conversations.
self-guided course is now available.
Wow,
So
the
you can
self-guided course, let me tell you, this is how we will end. We're gonna sell this shit. Self-guided course, guys, I'm jealous of the people who are gonna experience it. Like,
Dude,
I believe that our live experiences are so fire, but this
I
this
know.
was
I
so
know.
well done. Like, every time we were done with the prompt, we would like stop recording and we'd be like, yo, we're brilliant ass bitches. Like, we're some really brilliant bitches.
Yeah.
Like we talk, but then we also realize that we don't actually talk about. We work together every day, talk every day, but we actually also realize like we don't actually have conversations about certain things.
Yeah.
Um,
It was
and I
cool
think
to
it was like a
explore.
little, for me, it was like a little bit of longing of like, man, I miss building on our friendship with like
Yeah.
everybody, also with
Yeah.
especially with Norman and stuff, because I
Yeah.
see you and Kato. But man, the self-guided course, y'all. Yo, if you can't do the live program, this one is woo!
Yes.
Wow.
Dude,
So good. It's honestly the price. Yo, are you kidding me? Are you
I
kidding
know.
me?
I know.
Shit.
I had one of my friends, who's an avid listener of our podcast, is taking the program right now, and um, I like received a text from them, and they're just like commenting on like how awesome the module was, like just watching the first like thing, just like dude, there's so much I'm seeing in my interactions from like when we were interacting in high school all the way until now. And I was just like, dude, like and like they were apologizing for some things. I was like, dude, there's nothing to apologize for, you know? Like none of us had the education like to be able to do this. And like that's why we do what we do, because it's just like where else are you gonna get it?
Yeah.
You know, like most of us go through life not even being aware of how we impact other people,
Yeah.
like how we come across. Like we never think to invest in understanding that.
Yeah.
But like once you do, like it's not just like, oh, my relationships get better, my communication gets better, your fucking life gets better.
Yeah.
Like that's literally like hands down.
Yeah.
So
I
we'll
think
end
it's
there.
cute when people are like, oh, this person's a good communicator or I'm a good communicator. And I'm like, to like a basic standard, yeah. I'm like, I think there's like a good communicator, good communication, and then I think there's like RBTL communication, but then I think there's like I think there's like fellowship.
Oh yeah, no,
And
anyone, yeah.
then there's like fellowship and never leaving. Although y'all out there who keep coming back won't leave us alone. Yeah. Cause there's just so much to continue learning about like each other and relationships. Like we're always
Yeah.
going to meet new people, meet new personalities, sustain certain relationships. Things are always going to be tough. Like this is a necessity.
Truly.
Yeah.
Link below.
And another thing, I swear this is the last thing I'll say about the self-guided course. Like the self-guided course is very brilliant, but the thing I want to point out is like it's still you watching us do it. It's not you practicing it.
Yeah, that's true.
And the importance of the live experience is that you have a trusted space where everybody's actually working on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, all depends on like where you are in the journey, because you need both. But I think depends on what timing.
Yeah, because she doesn't just let anybody in the program either.
I love the new cohort.
We're very protective.
I love the new cohort. They're so cool.
Yeah.
All
right. Oh, this was not C-E-Woes. That's why I think that our energy is a little bit higher today.
Yeah, it's like I was like, wow, I'm leaving feeling okay today.
All right.
Hopeful.
See y'all next time.
Bye.
Wow, even the clap was on time.
I mean, we're what, 10, 20, no, 18, no, 10,
Dude,
20.
It doesn't even matter. It's gonna reset
25
when we
episodes.
start the next season.
25 episodes in. 25 episodes in.